Hey YouTube, it's Matt with Olympus Reptiles, and today is going to be a feeding video. It's also going to be a video where, if you watch real close, or if you watch the whole thing, hint, 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 don't just jump to the end on this one, please, because we're going to show you something. We're going to show you something that I think a lot of places use. I'm not calling out anybody. It's not mostly even reptile places. It's all kinds of YouTube stuff uses or camera stuff uses to make things a little different than they are. So we're going to show you that's done. So make sure and pay full attention. We are going to be feeding, though, live baby rodents to our rattlesnakes. Why do we do live feeding? It's just easier for us. One, if they don't eat, we can put it back in the colony. And two, that way when this goes out, we're going to live feed off of a tongue. They can choose to go to frozen thawed if they want, or they can continue to feed live. Whatever the customer chooses, the snake's pretty well ready for. So that's why we do it. But if you don't want to see that, then you don't have to watch this whole video. But if you do want to see that, stick around. So we're going to be using some young rodents who have just started getting fuzzy. Got two tools here. Problem is, these are really short tongs, okay? So as we go through and do this, it's going to be a little bit sketchy. Hold on. Oh my God, that was really close. Okay, that's really close. Now I gotta get the mouse out the water dish, though. I do have to do that. Otherwise it's gonna die in there, and that's not happy. Come on, little buddy. Come on, little buddy. Okay, this is gonna be really actually sketchy. That way he'll actually eat it. And let's do another one. That was a little on the terrifying side. We're just gonna go right up this row. Holy cow, I don't know if you guys can see that one or not. There it is. Oh no, I dropped the rodent food. Now it's really getting kind of creepy. Check myself before I reach up there. Oh goodness. That strike is really close. Really close. Guys, this is actually kind of terrifying. Like, I really need a tongue about this long, and I got really tiny, and they're getting super close to my hand. I don't know if you can see that or not. It is like, and like this one's ready. Oh my God, this is gonna be horrible. Please don't hurt me. Oh my goodness, oh geez. Okay, now you're out there. This part ain't so bad. I can use my tool to put the snake back in. Come on. Nope, stay in there. All right, now, let me show you how this really works, because and I'm not as dramatic as I probably need to be to make this film show up, but this is really not scary at all. So a lot of times what people will use to make things look more dangerous than it is a little bit of forced perspective. So by having, usually forced perspective is me having something in the foreground to make it look bigger. In this case, I'm in the foreground, but even farther ahead of us is the animal and the tongs, making what I'm using as a tool look really close, hopefully to my hand. At least that's the look we're looking for. But what's really going on, if I move camera guy Kurt here over to the side, you're going to be able to see that I actually have plenty of space, and I don't need to be freaking out, and I don't need to be like, and I'm not freaking out enough for what most of these people would do, but they jump up and down, and they scream like, oh my God, that's so close, I'm going to die, and they get all scared, and people think it's really dangerous. Problem is, when we do stuff like that in our community, which again, most reptile keepers and most venomous keepers don't. The people who do things like this in the reptile community are usually your people who are doing those videos like, I'm going to go out and hunt pythons, or I'm going to go out in the wild and do something, or oh, look how close this cottonmouth is to me in the wild. It's not usually the keepers. But all of that kind of stuff, if you don't understand what's happening, can be detrimental to the hobby. So let me get one of these guys picked up here. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm going to go use my normal tongs. We did have to switch tongs for this, so we're going to do this one down here. And see, look how much room I got. It's right to the nose. This thing isn't going to strike very far at all. Takes it right out of my hand. And I have plenty of space. I'm in absolutely no danger at all, despite what it may look like. And that's the whole point of this. Now I'm going to go to tongs I like better. Those tongs cause me to drop stuff. These just look a little too long because you know the size of them, so it would kind of mess with the illusion. But again, we can do this all day long and be in absolutely no danger at all. I don't need to make a bunch of drama for my mama. This is not dangerous. But if you were out in the wild doing things like this, we fed 2 up here already, right? And I think we fed 3. and you were doing this, and you were doing it just as calmly as this, with little to no danger, and you have people who are trying to get a ton of clicks, this wouldn't get the clicks, right? This would be click-free because there's no drama. The most dramatic thing that would happen is that one snake trying to crawl out, you know. And that's the point I want to make, though, is be careful what you watch, understand the camera tricks, and see, look, I'm clear to here. That snake ain't even gonna be able to reach me, man. And understand that most people doing this, you know, aren't really going to be putting themselves in a whole bunch of harm's way. That doesn't mean this doesn't come without risks. It certainly has them. But there's certain things you can do to mitigate those risks. One, you'll notice I'm always using a tool to open these tubs. It's because I'm not exactly sure where the snake's at. Once I can see the snake, I can close the tub with my hand. However, my fingers are not going above this lip. We're staying down below and doing it that way. I also always have the tool available should I need it. And we're using a proper size tool for the animals we're working with. Did I miss one? Last one. I know Kurt has a hard time seeing these up here. So, did I miss one of you guys? I kind of did it out of order for the purpose of the video. That one's eating. Think over here. Oh, I did miss you, didn't I, Cat? Now do watch when I'm working with that. I do need to keep an eye on that snake. And if it's trying to get too close, I'd have to close it up first. Is that all of them? I think we got them all. Usually I do it from the bottom in a zipper so I don't miss anybody, but for filming purposes, I do it kind of out of order. So Kurt, do you have any questions about the idea of videographers? And you do a lot more camera work than I ever dream of doing. Have you watched videos and seen what we're talking about? People are trying to use the angle of the camera to put in a higher level of danger, or making it scarier, or making it look like it's a closer call than it really is, in any films you've ever watched?
Yeah, I've seen some where they have like a snake on the table, and you're from the view behind the snake, so the person sitting on the other side of the table, and you can't really tell how close he is by the angle.
And sometimes this happens on accident. Like we even did one where we were working a hot, and after we did it, Kurt said, man, it looked like you just stuck your hand in the bucket. And I think it was one of these baby rattlesnakes. It was just a complete accident because the bucket was in front of something else, I think, and it looked like I reached into the bucket when I actually wasn't. So sometimes some of that force protective in a keeper situation is purely accidental. But there are places that do it on purpose, whether it's in movies, TV, YouTube, Instagram, to try to increase the look of what's dangerous. The problem is, I don't want to make what I do look more dangerous than it already is. I don't feel like I need to make keeping baby rattlesnakes more dangerous. I don't feel like I need to make keeping venomous species more dangerous than it is. All we have to do is tell the truth about it. And I think if we make it, if we sensationalize it as a community, then what is going to happen is we're more likely to lose our rights. I also think that we have to make it look, I don't want to say easier than it is, but as easy as it actually is. And it's not super hard. This does not require me to, you know, be some sort of superhuman or anything like that. It's pretty simple. I'm an old white fat guy and I can do this. What else do you need to know? And the reason for that is, now I don't, like I say, I don't want to like downplay it, but I don't need to increase the mystique or anything like that, because I want to keep our rights and show anybody that is curious how simple it actually is to do this. So, anything else you want to add, Kurt?
Yeah. How far of a strike range do these rattlesnakes have?
So, the rule of thumb typically with the rattlesnake is planned on about half its body length. I've seen that not be accurate, because if a snake is pressed into a corner, whether it's out in the wild on a rock or whatever, and they push off as they strike, they can kind of launch themselves a little bit at you. So I always try to give a snake about the full length of its body for a strike range. And I think if you do that, it gives you enough time to just kind of react and not get bit. You're not going to outrun one. It's not going to happen. But about the full length of its body. So these guys, most of these guys are like maybe that long, right? Now, that full length of its body is longer than my tongue. So part of it is coming into reading what the animal's doing and keeping the animal focused on what it needs to be focused on. If I had an animal taking a very, very aggressive pose, I'm going to feed it differently. A great example would be like if I had an animal that was posing bad, I could just open it, hold the road nail with my tongues where my hand never is even exposed. But learning to read the body language of these, this gives me more than half its body length, and I can do it 100% safe. We can make it look not safe, but there's no reason to do that. Anything else? All right, guys, thanks for watching. We will lock this up and catch you next time.